just saying it out loud makes me emotional, kind of, because for a long time I felt super crazy about the things I felt. For a long time I felt super like uncertain about, is this real? Is this just something my body makes up? How can I feel those pains? How can I feel those discomforts, but at the same time be fine, you know? Got my stuff, let's go. Yesterday I was walking the dog and I was thinking about, okay, how can I try to explain anxiety and anxiety disorder and how it feels, and maybe how I cope or deal with it in a better way, and maybe with a metaphor. And I was thinking about cutting my own hair weirdly. I don't know, some reason there is an overlapping similarity with anxiety. So anxiety comes and goes, and it's not something that you can just get rid of, especially if you have anxiety disorder, if you suffer from anxiety disorder. But you can imagine you get better each round, basically. So same with cutting your own hair. You make mistakes. You maybe cut somewhere wrong, you cut it too deep, or there's an uneven spot. But the next time you just try it again, and you try it again, you get better and better and better at it. And it feels like it's very similar with anxiety. Like, especially at the beginning, you're usually really bad with dealing with it. And so it's an overwhelming feeling of dread and just panic, depression, all that stuff that gets mixed into this pool of emotions. And like with cutting hair, it's also sometimes not the worst to just ask for help, to go to a professional, to get help from a professional. But yeah, that's something I came up with. I don't know if it makes sense, but in my head while I was walking the dog, I was like, that kind of makes sense a little bit, at least. There's a difference between anxiety and anxiety disorder. Like, everybody feels anxious at some point in their lives because of maybe some situations that they're going through, or things that happen, stressful events, whatever, work, I don't know. But anxiety disorder is something that is not typically something that goes away by itself pretty fast. Anxiety disorder is something that stays with you. And it can stay for literally weeks, months, years. And typically, from the people I've talked to and from what I know, is that anxiety disorder is something, once you have it, you don't really can get rid of. You can manage it. You can learn how to cope with it, how to live with it. And that's not something that is easy, but it's doable. While anxiety cannot really hurt you, anxiety is real. And just saying it out loud makes me emotional, kind of, because for a long time I felt super crazy about the things I felt. For a long time I felt super like uncertain about, is this real? Is this just something my body makes up? How can I feel those pains? How can I feel those discomforts, but at the same time be fine, You get crazy. Your body tells you, hey, you're in pain, you have something, there's something wrong with you. You go to the doctor tells you the test comes back negative, everything's fine with you, and you go home, and after, that reassurance by a medical professional, after hours or days, you feel that, again, the dreadful sense of, no, there's something wrong with me, there's something going on that maybe they have overlooked, maybe the test that they make was wrong, maybe the test didn't cover all bases. And it's exhausting and it's horrible. And now imagine it going on for weeks, for months, for years. Just as a disclaimer, I'm not a health professional, and I advise you, if you feel pain, if you feel discomfort, go seek help first from your health professional, from your doctor, obviously, to rule out any other things. But anxiety can literally make you feel anything. And I've literally had so many symptoms in my past that all came from anxiety, from stress, from just not sleeping well due to anxiety. Those levels of cortisol and adrenaline pumping through, your veins daily, they do something. They make you feel things, and even normal things because your senses are so heightened, normal body aches, normal discomforts that everybody feels throughout their day, throughout their life, and once in a while feel threatening. Something happened last week that's the main reason why I'm doing this video right now, where I fell back into this anxiety behavior, in this cycling through the worst possible scenarios, thoughts, and it was horrible, honestly. And now having a kid, having, a bigger responsibility, those thoughts shift, obviously. Like, the worst possible scenario is not just, oh, I'm dying or I'm dead, but then something like, but then my kid grows up without me, then, I don't see my kid grow up, stuff like that gets added to the whole list of worries, which is not nice if you get hammered with those thoughts. So anxiety can have two basically symptomatic basis. One is the physical symptoms and one is the emotional or mental symptoms, if that makes sense. So the physical symptoms can basically be any form of discomfort in any part of your body, if you want to be broad. So you can have aches in your upper body, back, front, arms, legs, obviously also head, neck, everywhere, literally everywhere. You can have IBS. That's something I suffer or suffered from. There are a lot of books on that stuff. One of the books I've mentioned in comments a lot before, one of the book series is by Joshua Fletcher. He wrote two books about anxiety and explained it in his books a lot. And then the other side is mental or emotional symptoms, like excessive worrying. I already said that, like worrying to the extent where you just are only focused on the worst part. So, and I already mentioned that last week something happened. I'm not going into details, but something happened that caused an anxiety period or an anxiety attack, so to say, because all of a sudden I was thrown back into this cycle of overthinking, of just dreadful thoughts, just the worst thoughts, and bad sleep resulting from that, just bad mood during the day, feeling restless, out of control, and just constant worrying about my health. But looking back from the years where I suffered from anxiety for months on end and thinking of basically dying all the time, to it takes me 3 to 4 days to stop the intrusive thoughts basically altogether and just get back to my life, was very eye-opening for me. Like, the amount of work, the amount of time I put into getting to the point is mind-boggling to me, and I got reminded again of how far I've come. And that's exactly the point why I'm making this video, because I have talked to so many people in the comments under my videos and on social media, made friends through that journey. But one thing I can and I will and I always say is, get your tools, whatever those might be, practice them, do things that feel good for you, practice them, and get into a healthy lifestyle, life cycle, and you will very fast, not recover, but very fast learn how to deal with anxiety. And when it comes back, and it always comes back, you're prepared. And from what I've learned through the last couple of years, it's the first, especially after you initially suffer from anxiety disorder, it's like high and then a little low and then high again and high and high. So the highs feel very permanent, will feel very like threatening and almost constant. But the periods between those anxiety highs get larger, longer. And that's a good sign. And sure, once in a while you have 2-3 anxiety highs after the other, but typically the space gets bigger, 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 bigger. So after my accident, I started therapy, and I basically have been in therapy ever since. I started doing CBT, so cognitive behavioral therapy. That helped me a lot. There are little things that you can do to ease your mind off anxiety, to focus more on your surroundings, on the outside rather than the inside, to distract your mind, to tell your mind over and over again that this is just anxiety that can hurt you. And by even simple things like understanding how anxiety works in your body and what it does already makes it feel less threatening and less scary. Obviously, a support system, people who understand you, people maybe who have been or suffer from anxiety disorder. And again, if you suffer from anxiety disorder, reach out. Feel free to either comment or go to my Instagram and text me there. Yeah, I'm always happy to help and talk to you. And with that, I feel like self-compassion is something that a lot of people are lacking these days, where you know, there's so much stress that comes in from the outside and you stress yourself with that. It might be work, it might be the state of the world, war, climate change, things like that, or even, you know, a significant other dying or getting diagnosed with some disease, whatever it is. There's so much going on in our lives that sometimes we get overwhelmed, and sometimes it's also okay to just step back, take a deep breath, and say, oh, I might need some time. I might need some time out. I might need some time away for a little bit. I need a mental health day. And just with that, practicing that, getting a tool belt together for anxiety over time, you will be more self-aware of, oh, I got triggered, something happened, and it might result in anxiety, or I already feel it. I'm already in the cycle of thinking about, you know, intrusive thoughts, thinking about the worst possible scenario. Managing anxiety is a journey, and managing anxiety can be very beautiful, because through that, anxiety has allowed me to be more empathetic, to be more self-aware of myself, how I feel, what's good for me, what's not good for me, stress, stuff like that. And being self-employed, for example, stressful situations, stressful weeks of work, I feel like through anxiety, I've learned more to step back, to say, okay, I need a pause, I need a break. And that's good for my mental and physical health. And so I've said that multiple times before, but I'm very thankful for my anxiety disorder. As weird as that sounds, I'm very thankful for this gift of being hyper-aware of myself and being so in tune with my body that I know when something's wrong. I know when I need a break. I know when I just need to step away and step back and just breathe. So lastly, I just wanted to say that anxiety is not something that can hurt you. It's real. And the things you feel through it are real, but it's not life-threatening. Again, if you feel sick, if you have symptoms, go to your doctor, go to your physician, go to your health professional, and basically get a check and see if nothing else is wrong. And the biggest thing is just talking about it. So many people suffer from anxiety, suffer from different types of anxiety, and people don't talk about it enough. It's crazy how many people I've already talked to and still continue to talk to about anxiety on my videos. Thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting, liking, and maybe subscribing if you have not subscribed yet. Anxiety sucks. Like, anxiety sucks ass. And I feel with each and every one of you who is going through anxiety. And I'm sorry that you are going through that. I wish I could just take it away. I wish I could just tell you a little trick to completely take it away, but that's not how it is. But I also can, again, tell you anxiety is something you kind of have to embrace. You kind of have to hug anxiety and tell it, it's okay that you're here because you're part of me. And since you're part of me, I accept you. And by that alone, it might ease the symptoms, it might ease the feeling of dread. Thank you, and until the next time, bye.